So you've got the bass coming in first. I assume this is in like order of inputs to Pro Tools?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and most things are going through the desk, so we can just kind of also lay it out that way.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm realizing now that we did a dumb thing and didn't put the drum mics where they would just normal directly. So we'll just go make that change in the live room real quick after this.
That'll make things much easier. Okay.
Have to patch less.
Okay, so we'll just patch it now and then go make the change?
Yeah,
okay.
Right. That's easy.
Fine. Well, as long as we're not going to get in trouble with any phantom power.
No, we haven't turned any of that on yet, so that's
cool.
all still good.
Cool.
So bass is first, which we've got in the ISO back here. The DI is 1 and the amp is 2 with the RE20.
Yeah.
Do you want to patch it? Should I?
You should patch it because you're more familiar.
So we have the amp ISO here. 1 goes to 1. 2 goes to 2 here. So
we're just patching from the mic tie lines into where they're showing up on the desk.
Next we have the drums, which won't need to be patched when we plug them in the right spot.
Colton?
Yes.
Your handwriting is so nice to look at compared to mine. Would you?
Oh boy.
Would you mind labeling that
Such
for me?
pressure. Sure. Are these gonna? Should I use a Sharpie or is this?
That's fine.
All right. Dry.
So we're just kind of like we're 1 and 2 of the bass, and then the drums lay out through 12, and then Rich's guitars. Tom, is the DI first? Is that right?
The DI is first, yeah.
Then the 57, and then the 414.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's correct. Okay. Moving on to the drums. This is the kick. Send that to the GML EQ.
Yeah, we should have the kick and snare going through the GML.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
We're using some outboard EQs. The Neve is fantastic, but it has fixed frequencies. So things, especially like the kick and the snare, we're putting them through the GML that has more points, EQ points available, so that we can be a little bit more specific and surgical with EQing. We'll kind of do the bigger, bolder moves on the desk with the Neve EQs, and then we'll use the GML primarily to kind of like sculpt out some of the unwanted mid-range.
Yeah, so moving on to the guitars here, I'm going to take the Whirlwind DI into console 13.
We take DIs for a couple reasons. Sometimes with really distorted guitars, it's easier to see for edits, but then also, so it's not really part of the sound. It's can be a visual aid for editing, but it's also more than anything, the reason we're taking them is if we want to do a reamp of a part, or just like comes to mixing, and I maybe want to throw like an amp sim on something just to have it be able to create a different sound. It's just like having a DI.
You've got a cool thing going on here. We're sending buses from the guitar mics into each of the channelers.
Yes. Yeah. So Tom is right now, he's patching the Chandler channels, which are very similar to Neve's, but we individually on the desk for the guitar mics, we will do some EQ, and then we will bus them together and combine them, and that way we have overall EQ on the combined sound as well. And no compressors, because typically my personal taste is to only get into compressing electric guitars if they're clean sounds and really dynamic, and they need a little bit of extra control. With the loud, distorted amp sounds that we're going to be recording, you do not necessarily need more compression if you've put the mic in a good spot and are getting a good, well-balanced tone. Yeah.
And then just the vocal, which is in year 2 into the past, which I did. And
Which compressor did you decide, Colton, for the vocal?
Vocal, we're gonna rock with that LA2A there.
Oh, great. Okay. Sort of discovered with Rich before, because he has such a loud voice, that we ended up using the Retro 176 because it has a 2-to-1 ratio. His voice is really loud and kind of just naturally compressed by the volume of his body. So we found like a much smaller ratio was beneficial. Well, I'm sure the LA2A will help us out.
That was our close second place.
That was and when we were shooting out compressors originally, the LA2A at my studio was a close second.
Cool. that's pretty much it. We do have talkback mics on here to
Okay.
be determined. Do you have anything in
Yeah,
mind
so-
for that?
Yeah. What do you guys typically? Oh, go ahead.
Well, we thought that the queue systems would feed into here with the talkbacks, but it only feeds to them.
Aha.
So we could rock with Rich being
Okay.
sort of the interpreter,
Okay.
or we could put up individuals and rock with the Mutamatic.
What do you guys do for talkbacks into here?
We usually do like OM5s in the room,
Okay.
just like one for each person, or we could do like one room Omni mic.
You know the space better than I do. I think. I mean, it might be fine to put an Omni right in the middle of the room.
I feel like that's probably going to be the simplest thing.
Cool.
Let's do that.
Love it.
When I'm